So in the earlier sessions, we have seen the aspects related to the conditional statements. Now in this session, we are going to talk about the looping constructs. Okay, so looping constructs basically the example is suppose if I want to perform some kind of the activity, okay, or else maybe the best example is payroll computing of 2,500 employees every month. Okay, maybe after getting their leaves, after getting their per day sal. Okay, just we are after getting these kind of the inputs, generally what we'll do is we are making use of some sort of specifications, like so how many leaves he has applied and any loss of pay is there, and per day how much salary he's having, and for 30 days or 31 days we are going to compute that. It is a routine or repeated kind of thing. So for that particular purpose, we are having the for loop phrase actually. So which is the most commonly used construct and which is most important construct in the understanding of the appropriate looping constructs. Okay, so let us jump into our favorite Jupyter notebook. And here, the main important thing is friends, repetition. So as to perform that repetition, I'm having some range function here. Let me show you the documentation. Okay, so documentation shift plus tab if I'm pressing. Then obviously, if any function, if I want to know about that particular function, just I can give the shift plus tab. So the original point is starting, stopping, and as well as the step function. Starting means I can start from one and up to five values if I want to have one five. Step function maybe I want to jump from two. I mean one after one I need to have the three, and then after three I have to be five. After five I want to be seven. So in that case your step function is two. Whereas if you want to specify only one, this is optional, friends. By default, your step function is optional one. So what we are doing here is generally, if I am mentioning this five, it is a stop condition actually. And moreover, in Python, you have to remember one important point while talking about the other things like the data structures. I'm going to emphasize on indexing and all these things. But now, just you observe here. If I'm observing the range, this is the start value. Okay, and there is a stop value. And start value, if you are not mentioning will zero, stop value is nothing but stop minus one. It is not taking the upper value. For example, suppose I am giving range value like this, 1 comma 10. Then what it considers is your start value as 1 and the stop value is 9. Okay, not the 10 value. Just to remember that the upper value, okay, is not included, it is excluded. It is taking up to 9 only. Now we observe here, as said earlier, the for loop, how it works is just if I am making use of this for loop, for example, so if I am writing like this for experience in, okay, a range of 10 up to 10 9 years of experience I want to generate. No, what it refers is a range generates however 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Every time, okay, after generation of this particular value, it will be posted to the experience. Now you can apply some sort of the condition also. As already I have mentioned, your learning is like whatever you are learning currently, and you should reflect that particular thing on top of the existing thing. Suppose if I want to give only the promotion, or if I want to give some sort of relocation, okay, for the employees, if experience greater than 5, then print can relocate, else print no relocation. See here, what we are doing here is as this for loop is keep on generating the repetitions. there should be some sort of the condition applicability. Okay, so in our examples also, first let us see the for loop individually, and then we'll move back to the if condition usage within the for loop. It is the best combination, friends, actually. Is the best way of applying the looping construct and as well as the conditional statements. Now have a look on this, guys. Just you refer this. And as I said earlier, just a value, whatever the range 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, just we are trying to print out those values. Just you can directly print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Now, to understand in a different way, start value I'm giving as 6 and stop value as 10. Okay, so stop value up to 10 minus 1 only it takes. And again, we are printing that. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these kind of the things can be observed. And similarly, one more important thing is I want to embed the step function actually. So this time what happens is starting value is 11, ending value is 19, and we are skipping two values between. That means 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. Like that it goes off. See here. Okay, just this is a usage of start function, stop function, and as well as the step function also. All the three things we have embedded. And coming to the, maybe you would have some doubt, like can I use the characters or strings in the for loop? Yes, definitely, friends. So how you can use is just making use of some string, and we are picking up that particular line individual characters into this particular thing. Okay, now you see just if you are making use of this thing, just it is getting the appropriate content into the character, and we can able to print out that character. Okay, and let us understand some of the logics. Maybe sometimes we may want to find out the first 10 natural numbers or else the first 10 members salaries in the department. Just I'm having a department, and within that department I want to get the salaries of those members, 10 top 10 members or something like that. I want to pick up 10 members. So in that case, just I'm making use of this convention, like sum initiated at 0 and for n in range of, because as I need to find out the 10 natural numbers, starting value 1 and my ending value is 11. Up to 10 only it goes. So what we are doing, friends, every time, whatever the value of n we are getting, just we are equating to sum. And what is the short form for this, friends? Yes, sum plus equal to n. Like that also we can write. It is all your wish. Okay, so just after generating the range of values, we are assigning the summation and we are printing that value. Okay, so first 10 natural numbers, 55. This is a pretty simple thing from our mathematics in our school days, right? Okay. Now this time, as I said earlier, no, combination of the for and as well as the statement. If you remember, friends, in the earlier session, just we have read some value through keyboard, and this time also we are reading the integer value, enter a number, and I want to find out even number and odd numbers. Okay, so how many even numbers are there? How many odd numbers are there? And accordingly, I want to print out the appropriate outcome. So basically, initially, these even and odd numbers are not having any value. So we are equating them to 0. And what we are doing here, guys, just I am making use of the number according to your given number because it has not yet defined. Just we need to, while running that code, we are going to give that number, okay, for a in range of number. And now we are checking the condition size. Whether if it is even, then remainder value should be 0. It should completely divisible. So one truth we know that whatever the number I'm having, if I'm dividing that number with 2, then it becomes even. If it is even, then only the outcome is 0. The remainder is 0. So if such kind of number, if I'm finding out, I am just incrementing that. It is like suppose if a person is doing some certifications, every time he submit the certificate to the HR department, then they need to increase the counter. Okay, so for member XYZ has submitted 5 certificates earlier. Now he has done one more certification in data engineering or data science. Then they may increment that 5 to 6, like that counter based incrementation. Here also even number initially 0, just so that whenever we are getting this kind of condition true for a particular number, maybe 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, like that, then every time we are incrementing that even counter. And suppose if the condition is false, in that particular case also we are having other option like definitely if the number is odd, then we are not going to get the remainder value as 0. So we are going to increment the odd. Now there is a typical thing, friends. So far we have printed directly the values, but there are certain formatting options. Don't worry about this. No problem. Just even you can print normally also. Print even number, print odd number, some like that you can print. Okay, focus on the logic print actually. So these formattings and all over the period of the time, you can get into whatever you want. Now to explain this condition actually. So just we are mentioning even numbers. In between, I want to print the value, whatever the value I'm having in the even variable, and whatever the value I'm having in the R. Just you can observe that this F is a formatting condition where I can make use of the specification as it is. Whatever the format the user want to specify, as it is, you can mention that format. So in this particular case, even numbers, whatever the even numbers I'm having from the list, I can see, and odd numbers also. Now let us run through this. Okay, so suppose I want to enter some uh, 10 numbers. Okay, so 10 numbers are maximum, 0 to 9. I want to find out the number of even and number of odd. Now you see, even numbers are 5 and odd numbers also 5. Now this time I want to execute, let me give 15. Now even numbers are 8 and odd numbers are 7. Like that, whatever the number you want and you want to find out how many events are there, how many odds are there. Okay, so this is something like, the case study I can relate. Even number vehicles are allowed on roads in these days, and odd number vehicles are allowed on roads on these days. So easily you can find out, okay, which are all the vehicles they can travel on road based on the even kind of there is a number plate and odd number, something like that. You can relate to the real-time case studies, friends. Okay. And apart from this for loop, but the most frequently used looping construct is for only, friends. Okay, in the logics and in the development also. But we are having other alternatives. Now you can see the distinction between for loop and while loop. Now the summation same and natural number summation with one or two lines I can able to execute the code because it is for loop is taking care about all the initialization, increment, and as well as the printing of the value. I mean the final result and all can be expected using the for loop. But whereas if I'm talking about this while loop, there are certain things, friends, like n value I am initializing to 10. The summation is 0. Again, counter value is also I need to initialize. But whereas in case of the for loop, that is not required. It takes automatically. Now, while I value less than or equal to n, here n value is 10, I is obviously 1. So the condition is true. So like in the if condition, how we have checked, in the while also we are checking, but only the differentiation is if is a single time executor, but while loop, multiple times it is going to execute. So my aim here is I want to suppose if I value is less than n, then those many times I want to add my I value to the summation because the one number is generating 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 values. Okay, so the up to 10 values, I want to find out the summation. And most importantly, I need to increment the value also. If I am not incrementing, then I value remains 1 only, which follows the infinite loop. Infinite loop is nothing but if you are not ending the while loop properly, if you are not specifying the condition properly, and it is always satisfying that condition. So there is never ending process. So that to avoid that particular thing, just I need to give the incrementation. Now finally we are getting the summation. Now you see here, just the summation. Okay, so I am taking n value by default as 10, and accordingly I am substituting the appropriate things. Okay. Now similarly, another important point, friends, actually. So let me go to the one note. There are certain aspects where I can mention with the break and continue statements, which are quite important in our implementation, break and continue. So suppose I'm running a loop and after reaching to suppose value 5, I want to terminate the loop completely. Then I can use the break statement. Whereas in a loop, if I am reaching to I value as 6, for some reason, I want to skip that particular value. Okay, skip that particular value. Then in that case, guys, I can make use of this continue statement. Okay, so break, if I'm making use of the break statement completely after reaching to this particular condition, the loop will be terminated. Okay, there is no further execution. Whereas if I'm making use of the continue, only that particular loop, whatever I'm taking, that particular counter value will be skipped and it follows the remaining things. Now, let me go to the our Jupyter notebook, guys. Here, uh, we are taking the range value 1 to 6. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because as I said, this upper, the stop condition is only up to 6 minus 1, 5. And if I am reaching to I value as 3, maybe the members who are having experience as 3, I want to break the condition. Okay, so just what we are doing is inside the loop, whatever the value I want to print, and we are coming out of the loop because as per the indentation, this is a corresponding block, whatever the things happening inside under the control of this if condition. Whereas once this particular condition is failed, then it is coming out of the loop, and this is outside the loop actually. Okay, it is not satisfying the condition. Okay, so or else I can specify this condition, okay, in the inside the if and outside the kind of thing. Now you run through, okay, only two times. Suppose if I am changing this to 5, assume that 5, then yes, as you expected, it is taking loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, loop 4. Okay, just to run through loop 4. And once that condition is satisfied, then obviously it is coming out of that particular loop. So likewise, you can mention the usage. And as I said earlier, friends, the complete termination happens actually. The fifth one is not embedded actually. But whereas if I don't want to miss out the entire aspect, only I want to miss out the third thing. Just to run through. Okay, only this condition is true. Only we are avoiding that third thing. Okay, whereas if I am giving I value is 2, only second one I want to miss out. Okay, so that is the difference between break and as well as the continue statement. Okay, so these examples quite helpful, especially in checking some conditions where a particular ID we want to exclude, where some particular ID we want to, after getting that particular number, I want to completely terminate. In that case, I can make use of these conventions. Coming to the other thing, the other example, like I value 1, until I reaches to 6, I am printing the value, and again I want to uh, check that I value should be incremented. Okay, otherwise it becomes the infinite loop. Okay, the loop is never terminated. And suppose that if I is not less than 6, then I want to print out I value greater than 6. This is the see a typical if else maybe coming into your mind, right? But in the while statement also you can make use of the else. Okay, without using the if and as a substitution as a else part you can specify. Now you run through. So just as usual, I value. First it is checking I value as 1, 1 less than or equal to 6, condition true. Then I becomes 2, condition check, 3, checking the condition, 4, 5, 6. Up to 6 it is satisfying. Even for 6 also it got satisfied. But whereas once I becomes 7, after reaching to 6 value, it becomes 7, then this is no longer valid. Then obviously it becomes the else condition. So with this, we can stop here, guys. In the from the next session, we are going to see some sort of empowering these kind of things. And let me give you the key takeaways of this session. Okay, so we started with some kind of loops where I can repeatedly execute the statement. In that we discussed for loop, and within the for loop we have used the range function. Range may be the start, stop, and as well as some sort of the step function in those kind of things. Generally, the stop is stop minus 1. Okay, it is not considering the upper value. So the other kind of thing is we have seen the while statement. So there is a difference between for and while. In the while, you need to initialize, and of course, condition is mandatory, and you have to increment or decrement the value. I'll show you some other examples also, friends, related to the decrement. Sometimes I may want to decrease the values. Okay, so starting from the bigger values, and I want to go to 9, 8, 7 like that. That also possible. But whereas in for loop, you need not initialize automatically, it takes care, and incrementation, decrementation also automatically takes care by the for loop. But condition, however, we need to mention explicitly. And the other two constructs we have used break, okay, which is complete termination after a particular condition is satisfied. Whereas continue, skipping off, only just I want to skip this particular thing, then only I can use the continue statement. Okay, so these things are quite, we are equipped with some knowledge things like identifiers, operators, Boolean kind of things, and then we have seen some sort of conditions. And now we are dealing with while and for all these kind of the aspects. Okay, so in the coming sessions, I'll introduce you some modules or functions where you can work out. Okay, so meet you in the, thank you, thank you very much.